As soon as I bought the 100 Greatest Hits of Doris Day, I was desperate to talk about it, but I wanted to listen to the album several times all the way through before I kind of gave my opinions on whether or not I think it's worth it. Now, first of all, I bought the MP3 download for I think about £6. £6 for 100 Doris Day songs is always going to be a bargain. A lot of my favourite songs are on here. I've developed some new favourites. The two songs that I would put on here that are not on this are On Moonlight Bay and By the Light of the Silvery Moon. I think they're the two that I would have liked to have had on this that aren't. But there are certainly no songs on this that I don't like. Now, I'm not actually going to talk about all 100 songs. I will try and remember to put the track listing in the description and also a link to where you can buy this. But I picked out around about 20 that I thought were kind of really good highlights from this CD. So if you want to kind of sample the songs before you maybe bought it, these are the ones that I would choose. So they're kind of in the order in which they appear, but I'll explain why that's not 100% the case in a moment. So the first song is Que Sera Sera, and I feel like that was always going to be the case. It wasn't actually until recently that I learned that Doris Day is the original singer of Que Sera Sera. It appeared in actually 3 of her films, the first one being The Man Who Knew Too Much, the 1956 film. She introduced us to Que Sera Sera, and just nobody can sing that song like Doris does. It's so beautiful. The second track on the album is another favourite. That's Secret Love. Her vocals in this are ridiculously powerful. It's such a beautiful song. And coincidentally, it actually comes from my favourite Doris Day film, Calamity Jane. Calamity Jane's quite a weird one because I feel like it's not like any of her other films. I've seen all of her films apart from about 4 or 5. I will watch the rest, but I'm kind of trying to resist the temptation because I don't want the films to be over. I want to still have a Doris Day film that I've not seen. However, Calamity Jane, her character, the songs, it's just completely unlike pretty much anything else she's done. But it's my favourite. What's weird about this is that there are actually 4 other songs from Calamity Jane on this. But even though that's the second track, about halfway down the album, you'll find Deadwood Stage, Windy City, and the Black Hills of Dakota. Deadwood Stage is definitely a personal favourite. And then towards the end of the album, you'll find A Woman's Touch. And I'm not really sure why they split up all of the Calamity Jane songs, or why 3 of them were lumped together and the other 2 were separate. I haven't really quite worked out the structure to this, or why the songs are in this particular order. Maybe there's a reason, maybe it's just random, but I would have preferred it if they had all been together, but it's not a big deal. The next one that I love is the 1952 song A Guy Is a Guy, released by Columbia Records. Not a song I'd heard of. I hadn't heard of it until this album. It's a lot of fun. It's good fun. Equally fun is Everywhere You Go, which is apparently one that she sings with the Mellow Men, which is a very fun name. I like the male harmonies in this, and I just love the refrain, "You wonderful, marvellous, beautiful girl." I think, well, that accurately describes Doris Day, and it's just really catchy, and it just makes me feel really happy. As does the next one. This is Papa Won't You Dance With Me, which is apparently from a play called High Button Shoes. It's not a play I'd heard of. I briefly looked into it, and it looks interesting enough. If you've seen it, I'm not sure if there's I think there's a film version of it. If you've seen it, let me know what you think of it and if it's worth seeing, and also particularly what this scene is about, because from what I gather, it's about a young woman singing to her father and asking him to dance with her. But it's just lively, it's upbeat, it's catchy, it's engaging, it's addictive, ridiculously addictive, to the point where I don't ever stop singing it, but I've not really committed all of the lyrics to memory yet, so I really only know a little bit of it by heart. But it's very addictive, maybe annoying for other people around me. One of my all-time favourites in this, and one that speaks to me more than any of the others, is a song called Enjoy Yourself, parentheses, it's later than you think. Fabulous accompaniment by Frank Sinatra, originally written by Irving Berlin for the film Miss Liberty. Not a film I'd heard of, but one that I will definitely check out at some point because it does sound interesting. This song is all about, well, as the title suggests, it's about having fun while you can. You know, you work all day, you're always trying to make money, and, you know, at the end of the day, you need to live now because, you know, there's no point in putting it off. I'm not describing it very well. Carpe diem, there you go. It's amazing. I love the rhymes in this. It's very easy to kind of sing along to or bop along to, or however you respond to upbeat music. Whatever you do, it's very easy to engage with it. And it's easily my favourite new discovery on this. I'm not saying it's better than Deadwood Stage because I love Deadwood Stage, but it's my favourite new discovery. Having said that, Let's Take an Old-Fashioned Walk is a very close contender. It is a very good song. Then we have the 1950s, I Said My Pajamas and Put On My Prayers. I did say those the right way around. Basically, if you're not familiar with this song, which I wasn't until this, it's about a woman who, I guess her head's all cock-a-hoop. Because she's singing everything backwards. She wound up the cat and put out the clock. She said goodnight to the dog and gave her ma a bone. Everything's backwards and upside down, and it's really difficult to sing along to. Especially when you've only heard it one or two times, because your brain just naturally wants to say what is the correct way. Doris Day sings it exquisitely. She sings it so beautifully. And it's great fun, it's comedic, it's entertaining. It's perfect. I haven't heard anybody else's rendition of this, and I'd quite like to, but for me, that will always be my number one. Finally, we have another one from a film, and that's Romance on the High Seas, the song Put 'Em in a Box, Tie 'Em with a Ribbon. I just naturally want to say Throw 'Em in the Deep Blue Sea, which is the next lyrics in the chorus. And this is actually from her very first film. This is from the film Romance on the High Seas, and I guess this is arguably our introduction to Doris Day's vocals in cinema, the start of an absolute legend. And it is beautiful. It's really lovely. As is the next song, Everybody Loves a Lover. Day's version was recorded in 1958 originally. This is a very popular song. Most people know the song Everybody Loves a Lover, and her version is gorgeous. Same with the next song, When I Fall in Love. Day's version recorded in 1952. And this is probably the first song on this list where I've had other people singing that song and I've loved their version. And now I have Doris Day's version and I can't work out if I prefer hers. But I think I do. I just feel like she's got... When Doris Day sings, she sings with the emotions of the song. And I'm not saying that nobody else does that, but there are a lot of people who will sing these songs, but you don't feel like they're really emotional. Whereas with Doris Day, it's like everything she sings is off of her own back, from her own head, from her own heart, not lyrics that somebody else has written. And that's what I love about her. Changing paces a little bit, we have Marseilles Passes, which she sings with Johnny Ray. And it's brilliant. Marseilles Passes, we should still be eating. Because when we are still eating, we can't go on meeting. No, that's not right. The lyrics for this one are very chaotic. I absolutely love it. It's about, a young couple who, I guess, want to start courting, want to start dating, but their parents say that they should keep dancing and keep eating and basically doing all of these things. Anything to stop them from, kissing or whatever they want to do. It's good fun. It's got a really great tune to it, and it's one that I really like. But not as much as the Red Red Robin. The Red Red Robin comes bobbing along. Oh my goodness. It's so fun. It is lively. It is energetic. Best listened to through headphones. Originally released in 1926, the Doris Day version recorded in 1953. I love this song. I was kind of familiar with it before I listened to this, but not overly so. But having sat down and listened to it multiple times now, I just think it's beautiful. And not just because robins are my favourite birds. I really do love it a lot. The same with Dream a Little Dream of Me, which is the next one. This was originally 1931, released by Doris in the 50s, and It's incredible. I love her version of it. I think her version was always my favourite. But it's very widely covered. Second last one, we have a song called Love Somebody, which she sings alongside Buddy Clark, originally recorded in 1947. Beautiful vocals, the voices go very well together. And I will end on Mr. Taptoe. And the song itself doesn't bother me. The vocals, there are several voices here, and not all of the vocals are perfect. Some of the harmonies not to my liking. But what I love about this is you basically have the sound of tap dancing right throughout it. And I love the sound of tap shoes. So for me, that was something that I really loved. And I love that sound. I love having that in the background. It's absolutely brilliant. Those are 20 out of 100 songs on this album. They're all amazing. They really are. But those are my personal favourites. If you have a favourite Doris Day song, I would absolutely love to know which one it is, which ones you'd recommend to somebody just getting into Doris Day's music, or indeed her films. I would certainly recommend, I'd recommend Calamity Jane, but if you want a film that kind of is in keeping with the rest of her films, I would say, there's so many. Storm Warning's great. Midnight Lace is great. Romance on the High Seas, actually, her performance there is brilliant, particularly for like her first film. There are so many that I think are brilliant, but any that you'd love, I'd love to hear. If you get this album, let me know what you think of it. I absolutely love her. Apart from the two songs I mentioned, this album pretty much has it all.